Investors and traders, welcome to the channel. Today is 11th of December 2024. Hope everyone is having a great day. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the key US technology stocks, but the format is going to be a little bit different. We'll also take a look at the key US stock indices as well briefly, especially the NASDAQ. We'll take a look at, and then we'll be covering the individual stocks such as Tesla, Apple, NVIDIA, Meta, Amazon, Shopify, Roblox, Zscaler, to name a few. And as always, this video is for educational purposes only. It's not a financial advice. So let's take a look at the Nasdaq 100. This is the futures chart. It has made new all-time highs around here. This is the week of 11th of November, 7th of November 2024. We had a key timing date come in, and what I mentioned back then was that it looks like we have a larger cycle, which is actually pushing the prices higher because these are turn dates, and usually we actually associate a turn to the opposite direction to the prevailing trend. But it's not always the case. It could actually also mean acceleration point of an existing trend as well. So these are key turn dates, and that's how I look at them. And what we have seen is actually a market put in a bottom just around the election time, and we have seen a remarkable rally take place in the Nasdaq 100 and a few other indices as well, such as since then Nasdaq, S&P 500, and also the Dow Jones Industrial. Now we came up with a target of 21,980, and so far we have been as high as 21,820. So by the end of the week, perhaps we could actually reach this first target. But also notice this wedge formation here, so also hitting the top of this wedge part. So we need to take this into consideration as well. And let's actually take a look at the S&P 500. This one this week has thus far not made a new all-time high, so it's still underneath last week's high. And the remarkable difference is here, where not all the indices are making new all-time highs, unlike Nasdaq 100. So for example here, we can see that Dow Jones put in a top week of 2nd of December, and look where the Nasdaq is making new highs. Dow Jones did not. In fact, the price action is very different. Look, it closed on its lows today, so that's an interesting one. But keep in mind, now here we have this market symmetry running here. This is the kind of lows that we have seen thus far in this move higher, and if we begin to close lower than this, that's going to be the first indication that something is changing in the structure or the nature of this move higher. So we need to pay attention, and then of course it will also be look, we have this really nice channel going on as well. It will also be a break of that, so a number of things will come together. Now the other index that we take a look at from time to time is the New York Stock Exchange Composite Index, and this one includes ADR, so foreign stocks here, and you can see that it has actually topped way back on 29th of November week, excuse me, this is daily chart, 29th of November, and it's also now broken below this wedge pattern formation as well, so the move could actually accelerate down to as high as 19,620. This is where we'll be paying close attention to, and going below these lows of 19th of November, the move lower could actually accelerate. So we'll just keep an eye on it, and the key concept of the market symmetry, of course, is relevant here as well. And this index is actually very, very similar to, in terms of its pattern formation, to the Dow Jones index. Okay, now talking about Dow Jones, some of the key stocks, if we just take a look underneath Dow Jones, it's a price weighted index, so that's one thing. One of the key stocks is just JP Morgan, and JP Morgan completed its ABCD, like the CD leg is 1.618 times the AB leg, and it's been just so precise. We have some really long-term patterns completing in JP Morgan on the monthly chart here, but the momentum had been so strong that some of these moves actually continue to move higher or accelerate higher, especially during the month of November because of the impact of the elections. So with this move being this price target being this precise, we need to pay attention to it because it's not been able to close higher for the past 2 weeks, and we have got 2 more days to go in this week. So if it actually closed negative for the week, or if it closes below this week, there'll be previous week's low. That's going to be even more negative. But what it just indicates is that we'll have 2 consecutive negative closing weeks for the stock. Of course, here the trend is really strong, so we could just anticipate a pullback at this moment in time, but it is also a completed CD leg of 1.618 times of AB, so need to pay attention to that. Now let's start to take a look at some of the key technology stocks. So let's start with Tesla. So here we go. So we can see that Tesla has just gone parabolic because of the elections and Elon Musk's role in the government, and it has gone and taken out these previous all-time highs of 1st of November. Now we had a really key key pattern completing around here, around $340, $350 mark, and that had been our target for a long time. So I was personally long for Tesla for a long time because that's the power of these patterns. So I believe in these patterns. Some of the when I make the videos, I actually personally hold positions in some of these stocks. I just don't mention this because the channel is not about signals or how to manage trades. That's another totally different subject matter. It's more about technical analysis, and what we are doing is projections, forecasting, which is a very difficult thing to do, in my opinion. And what seems to be happening is that the CD leg is actually extending. It has already extended, so I was not able to do videos because of the travel, but you can see really strong move here. So I would imagine any pullback would be pretty healthy for an entry, and something I would actually personally be looking to do. But keep in mind that Tesla remains a very pretty volatile stock. So I'm just going to clean up the chart a little bit here because of course these targets have been met here, and what we can have on the weekly chart is an extension of the CD leg like this. Here we go. So 458, 460 on the weekly chart. But here is the real key. This is a chart which I had been showing from time to time. And in fact, I'm going to do a special video just for the Tesla stock because I just want to show this. Last year or the year before, I believe it was last year, beginning of last year, when Tesla was putting in a low around here, I made a video about the Tesla stock reaching $500 mark, and some people actually ridiculed in the comments, calling this crazy, and I'm trying to get YouTube views and stuff like that. The comments are still there, but I also mentioned this is something for the investors, people who really believe in the Tesla stock and the Tesla story. And now it doesn't look too far away. It's just another $75 for the stock to reach and complete this bigger ABCD. So the chances are that we are in this CD leg higher, which could in fact take the stock as high as $500. And thus far, the month is not over yet, but it's also a month of December where we have positive seasonal influences, especially towards the after the Fed meeting. I would imagine there's going to be maybe a sort of a rally starting, in my opinion. And this stock could be a big beneficiary out of that rally as well. So that target is there, and maybe it is actually able to reach that, given the fact that it's actually taken out the highs of 21st of November, which was as high as 414 and 50. And we have of course gone up by 10 bucks in the stock, and in the aftermarket even higher. So a really interesting one, and this is the power of the patterns, and they do work on different time frames, monthly, weekly, daily. Even you can go shorter intraday time frames as well, which time to time I like to show as well. But of course, one has to be really, really patient for these monthly charts to complete their patterns. So a nice one for the textbooks, for the from an educational perspective as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to the daily chart, and let's start by taking a look at Meta. So those of you guys who have been following the channel for quite some time and regularly watch this, you would have known that I have been actually very positive on the Meta stock for quite a while. And in fact, around here, we actually had targets around here, around 600 bucks. Those targets were met, and then the stock went into a little bit of a corrective phase, in my opinion. And what it is essentially did an ABCD. And this is around here where I also personally began to accumulate the stock as well. And then we have had a really fantastic move higher, and we had to come up with some targets of around 670, and then after that 636. So those targets on the shorter term daily chart have actually been met now. So that's like a smaller swing for this leg. Both these targets have been met, so this is really great to see. Personally, I'm out of the stock because I when I trade, I am actually swing trading, so I don't recommend what you guys do, because the channel is not about that. Neither am I authorized by FC or anything to give any recommendations, so this is why I don't really talk about that. But so we just focus on the pattern formations. So here the stock looks pretty nice in my opinion, and if we go and take a look at this on the weekly chart, it's got a potential to actually go and hit about 670 bucks and even higher, maybe about 690. So I think Zuckerberg, who's still very young, has got a pretty good chance to actually have a take on Elon Musk, who actually amassed a fortune of $400 billion with his rights in the Tesla stock. So Zuckerberg is actually with the time in favor of him, and if he keeps on doing things beneficial to the company, which he has been, he's got a pretty good chance to catch up. And here we go. This is where the pivot happened. This is where I don't remember when the Facebook changed its name to Meta, but you can see the significant decline in the stock, and this is where Zuckerberg pivoted. So, very clever guy. He pivoted around here, and it all became about artificial intelligence. And this is a company which has got so much data. It's in the right position to really take advantage of the artificial intelligence. They have already done a lot of work in that field, and this is where the pivot happened, and this is where these investors came back and they started to pile up in the stock, and this happened right at the 78.6% retracement as well. And it was just fantastic because we were watching this. It's all on the videos. I do not delete any videos. And then when it actually began to go higher than 200, we became bullish on the stock because this was the 38.2% retracement. It broke above that. It was just telling us that okay, it is actually going to go target 78.6% retracement, a shallow pullback, and off it goes. And you know where the stock is now. All right, so now let's take a look at the stock of Apple. So this is what we had been discussing in Apple. It's gone and reached our first target, 248, with a possibility of about 260 bucks in the Apple stock. This is where Warren Buffett has actually been liquidating his stock. I think he sold about $180 billion worth of his Apple stock. And you can see that for a while, 6 months, the stock just did not go anywhere because a big shareholder was actually exiting. So we only find out after the fact what happened, but the patterns actually tell us in advance, what sort of price action could happen. So this is what we are looking at in Apple, and then if we take a look at Amazon. So Amazon, actually we had this target for about 215. It's gone above that, so it's got a potential $250. That's remains there. Here I had actually thought that maybe Amazon had put in a big top around here, and we did see a pretty big pullback, and it pulled back right into the 38.2% retracement, but rejected lower prices. So that was an indication that it's got higher prices to come, but it's also getting into this zone around $230, where it is pretty much right now. We could see some sort of a pullback happen. Ultimately, maybe it's able to get around 250 as well. So it's getting into that zone where it could be, getting into overbought territory, in my opinion. And of course, from a retail perspective, because of the holidays, it's a pretty big quarter for Amazon. So typically, seasonality plays into Amazon stock when we go into Q4, especially November onwards till the end of the year. Now, let's take a look at Shopify. So the Shopify stock has also reached our, well, it's actually extended our target. We were thinking of $100. It's gone to 118, 120 roughly. 120 actually, and that's right here at the 61.8% retracement. So it completed. You look at this pattern formation we had drawn, it's just gone there. I think this stock is actually going to find resistance here, perhaps even struggle and pull back. So right now, don't have any further targets for this stock unless this like begins to extend. But I think there is a fair amount of resistance right here where the stock is at the moment. Then this one, Google. So the Google actually is a bit of a surprise to me because I had been bearish on this stock in the sense that I had lower targets, that it was actually moving in a corrective phase, but this week has actually changed all of that. So everyone has something to learn from the market. But we were able to forecast its highs around here with our targets of $190. Then we were also able to have an immediate, not an immediate, but like a support coming in from the structure as well, around 38.2%, around the $150 mark as well. And then I was tracking this move as more of a corrective move with an ABCD, and with the possibility that if it is in fact in its corrective mode, it could actually correct this much, and then right to the 61.8% retracement, 125 with the trend line, and it'll be a pretty good spot to actually start accumulating, because it's a nice stock. But I thought it was just going into a corrective phase, but the earnings has changed quite a bit. Look at this. This is like a very unusual kind of week here, and the stock has just this just gone or made new all-time highs, and I was striking it with this left translation, with the phase being negative, moving it down. But the stock has done something different, and really done it in 2 days time. It's just amazing. So a learning lesson, but I think we were able to forecast quite a lot of its decline with catching this top around here, catching the bottom around here, and then I was looking at is more of a retracement with a lower high, and yeah, we got a day like this. So there we go. Then let's take a look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is actually consolidating, but it is actually consolidating after completing the pattern that we were looking for. So it's pretty much reached the target. There is a higher target on 171, but the chances are it might actually remain sideways for quite some time, and maybe even rotate a little bit lower as well. It all depends upon its forward guidance, because they come up they beat the numbers in their earnings, but the forward guidance was weaker. So maybe the market is actually digesting all of that and looking at some of additional numbers to come. But from our perspective, it completed pretty much the ABCD pattern, not to the tick, but it just came close. with a possibility of 171. But the key part is that if it begins to close below the 20-week moving average, is the blue one, then it could actually pull back right into this trend line here. So just keep that in mind. And if we just use our concept of market symmetry, here we go. Yeah, that could actually take us a little bit below the trend line. So I think around here could be pretty good support. Of course, if this point C is broken to the downside, that changes quite a few things, because this means that it is likely to go and test 75, maybe even to 200 week moving average around 45. But right now, sideways to my bias being to the downside, sideways to down for the NVIDIA stock. And let's see what the market will give us. Now let's take a look at Roblox. So the Roblox stock has actually been one stock which has been doing pretty well, especially since October. And I can't remember exactly. I think it was around here when this a negative report was published by this short seller. I can't remember their name, but they came up with some estimates of their own. I don't know what it was, but the stock has actually proven them wrong, so that's good. And we are always been targeting around 63 to $67, which is the 38.2% retracement. And now I think it's got a chance to actually meet our target. So Roblox shareholders, I think they should be pretty happy now that after a really long accumulation phase, if you are a fan of Wyckoff's work, it's like a coil or a spring. It's just been accumulation going on since 2022, and now finally we're getting a breakout. So our target around 67, 65, 67. That's going to be the target. Let's see what market will give us. And finally, last but not least, is going to be the Z scalar. So this stock is a very volatile stock, and it's just been sideways for a number of weeks now, which makes me suspect that it came very close to our 61.8% retracement, and it really needs to get above that if it's really in a CD like higher. Otherwise, we can see a move lower, and on a break of this point C, and maybe it goes and fill this gap around the $100 mark. So not a very exciting stock at the moment, but also a pretty volatile stock to own. If somebody has been a Zscaler shareholder, they will know. So thank you very much for watching the video. I will come back with further videos during the week. We'll try to cover some of the forex markets, gold, and also Bitcoin. So do a segment on the crypto. Cryptos are, of course, moving quite a bit because of the positive momentum coming in from the new government taking its reins from 20th of January next year. So a lot of move has actually been made in the crypto market, so they are actually becoming more exciting now. So we'll take a look at those, and I will be back with new videos. So thank you very much for watching the video. Good luck, good trading, and speak to you guys soon.